Hello and welcome to the new year. I'm Mia Sines and this is Lori Montry. Actually, I should probably do it on this side because it shows up in reverse on our recording. And today we're talking about healing your relationship with food and your body. We've come to you with 8 weeks of divine healing. And this is a segue into Lori's and my mastermind course for women and for men, but specifically for women, to shift and change your life in a year. We will take about 10 to 12 or 10 to 15 women, and we're going to change your life. We're going to do body, mind, and spirit. We're going to do things such as if you want to shift your jobs, everything. It's about manifesting, creating, and building a new you. Oftentimes I would tell people, and I'm going to give it over to Lori in a minute. Oftentimes I would tell people when they would say, wow, you've done so much. This was like, maybe 5 to 10 years ago. You've done so much and shifted and changed your life. And I would say, yes, I'm the bionic woman. So in the early years, I was like, I'm the bionic woman because I was in a wheelchair. I was literally dying. The doctors gave me less than 2 years to live. I had had an accident. Well, 9/11 had ripped me a new one, as they call it. I ended up in a broken down mental state because of early childhood PTSD. I had been working on this. I've been studying self-love since I was 24. So that's, well, I guess we don't have to say, a long time ago, about 34 years ago. And so literally it's about, you can change exactly who you are. So some of you know that I've also was diagnosed with cancer in 2020 and I was end of life, and I healed that in less than 4.5 months. We think it was healed in 3. By the 4.5 months was when I had my exam, my blood work and my MRI, and that's where we knew that that was the date that I was cancer free. So that's my story. And Lori has a beautiful story too.
Yeah. So, when we talk about changing and transforming our lives, when we can do it from a place of having fully healed ourselves, right? All of us on board, all the different parts of us, as Mia was saying, body, mind, soul, all of those running optimally and functioning at their highest level. When that comes together and you combine it with your intention, there's literally nothing that you can't create. Whatever is meant for you is available to you when you approach it from your place of complete healing. And so that's why we're taking all the different areas of us as integrated beings, and we're saying, okay, we're going to look at each of them, and we're going to function optimally in each of those areas. And then once we feel like we're in that place, all right, what do you want to create now? What is it that you want for your life? Because there is nothing at that point that's not obtainable for you. And I think that a lot of times, we go to a business coach because we want help with our business. We go to a health coach because we want health, health gains. We go to, a spiritual thing, and then something to do with the mind and our thoughts. And when we piecemeal it out and things are, not brought together in one house, so to speak, it's like we can feel a little bit of progress, a little shift, and it's wonderful. But if we're not, combining all the pieces, then that's where the power comes in. That's when you become, infinitely powerful to be able to do whatever it is that you want. And I know so many of the people here have experience in some of these areas. They've healed, they've started some healing, they've grown in their spirituality and in their soul and in their, in many ways. And so as Mia and I were talking, what do people need right now? And it is this combination, putting everything together in one house. So today's topic, this is this topic about healing your body, really, right? Which has a lot of facets to it. And one being very important one is your relationship with food, because food, as Mia said, was like literally transformed her conditions more than once. I've seen it. This is the primary work that I do with people, is helping them develop that nourishing relationship with food and eat in a way that really supports who they want to be. So it's a big topic. obviously. It's something that we cover for months in the program, broken down in a really digestible way. So as you listen today is more about kind of understanding what some of those pieces are. And it's going to be powerful. I'm such a practical person that I'm always going to offer you one thing that you can take with you and start doing today. Because it drives me crazy when I have knowledge, and I as a individual, like if I have the knowledge but I don't know what to do, give me a step. So I'm going to make sure that you have a step. And that's how we build, is taking one step at a time. But just know that this is a vast area of knowledge for you, that we're going to scratch today in a way that I think is useful, very useful. But there's just so much more powerful things to learn when it comes to harnessing your greatest physical self.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Lori's also a transformational coach.
Oh,
Obviously, what you see here is spiritual. Also,
True.
a lot of it is spiritually evolved into. And can we have Brooke and Magda and Janet, can you guys turn on your cameras, please? This is the cameras class. There's a few people in here that are on phones. We know that they can't get through today. Oh, there's Brooke. Good to see you, babe.
Good to see you.
Wonderful. I also didn't say what I do, and some of you have come from Lori and so don't know that aspect of me. So I call myself a love coach. So I started out 13 years ago in relationship coaching with couples because their sex life was not on par. What I found out was that they needed to build their interpersonal development, which is also called self-love. And so that's where I took off. And then I started coaching couples together, and then people finding relationships. And then it just went more into healing the aspects of the human on the interior. And I'm also a business strategist since I was 18. So that's actually 40 years. I've built 18 businesses. I've sold more than half of them. Man, let me tell you, when you start talking business with me and that energy of money and creation and just like spirituality, I take off. So we are a few minutes later than we thought starting, just because of the whole camera stuff. So if any of you are not able to stay a few minutes after, if we're not quite through with a few of the things, we might go over about 5 minutes, just so you know. Lori, would you like to start us out?
Yeah, definitely. So, we're all here. I think probably everyone, especially this year in particular, I feel like the energy around, I want to become who I know I'm capable of being, is so strong, like in the universe. And so this is such an important topic, because every single thing that you want, whether that is to change your mindset, whether that is to heal from the past, or to build a relationship, everything that you want requires energy. And you may not think of it that way, like, why would changing my thoughts require energy? But if you really look at, and look at the science of what happens when we change thoughts, we're creating new neural pathways. Okay, we're literally asking our brains to change shape as we're trying to shift into new mindsets. When we're trying to heal, we're using energy. Everything comes down to energy. And so in our bodies, if we are living in a place of where we have either an energy deficit, or we're just getting by day after day, we're able to do our stuff, we're functioning fine, but there's nothing left over for the work that we want to do, we're not going to change. And that is so frustrating. It's what I've seen from so many beautiful, dedicated people who are in there doing their work. But if they don't have their body doesn't have the energy to provide them with the ability to change, then they're spinning their wheels, they're stuck, and they're so frustrated. And also, so that is one really important reason why energy is so important. The other reason why energy is so important is all of your body systems, your immune system, your detoxification system, the way your body takes care of inflammation. All of these processes of your body require energy. So, and you know, people, for example, people with gut issues, very often, if you get their energy system in an optimal place so that their body is producing energy, then it can heal. It can heal the gut. It can heal. It can take care of the inflammation. It can detox properly. Your immune system is operating at its highest function. And so, you know, you're healing cancers. You're healing every ailment that is going on because your body can do its job when it has the energy it needs to do so. So you can see why, you know, in the program, we do go into the detoxification system and the immune system and inflammation and all those things. But I chose energy to bring to you today because it really is such a foundational piece, right? If you've got energy, a lot of the other stuff takes care of itself, and you're able to do the transformational work that you're here to do. So I just wanted to kind of talk a little bit why the energy system is so important, and also kind of give you some idea of how you can start to support it. So everything is very holistic, right? So you need to be looking at your lifestyle, your food choices, and your stress level and the other things, right? But there are also pretty simple nutraceuticals and supplements that you can take that support your energy system. And I am definitely not trying to, you know, say, okay, you got to start taking all this regimen and all these supplements and stuff. But I just want to offer you something, right? A step that you can take for your energy system, because we obviously don't have time today to dive into the months of content around what does it take to really support your body. So today, what I want to just suggest to you, throw out there, is a supplement called NAD+. And NAD+ is something that really helps support the mitochondria in your cell. And the mitochondria are essentially the factories that produce the energy for your body. So anything that we can do to support those mitochondria, to help them function and churn out that energy, which is known, maybe you've heard it, ATP is the kind of the currency of energy. Anything you can do to help your mitochondria make that energy is just gonna, you know, downstream affect everything else, your immune system, your ability to do the transformational work, and just the way you feel, like having the motivation, right? To say, instead of saying, gosh, I'd really like to change. I know what I should do. I'm just not doing it. Part of that is an energy problem. So NAD+, and I will say there's two particular brands. I obviously have no affiliation with anything, but having been in this universe and been listened to a lot of people who I respect and get their advice from, one of the most the people who have done some really wonderful research around it is a company called Quicksilver. That's a liquid form. You keep it in the refrigerator. And there is a capsule, and that is by True Neogen. So True is TRU, Neogen is NIAGEN. So those are two brands that you could check out. Again, if you're interested, we're not, you know, trying to get you into something that doesn't feel right to you. But as we talk about energy and mitochondria, this could be something that really gives you an edge with respect to getting you the energy you need to perform, to do what you want, to create, to change your mind, for your body to function at its best.
Thank you. I love that.
Any thoughts on, you know, the energy system, Mia, and how important it is to the overall picture?
Yeah, you know, we talk about energy and we think about it, one in the way that Lori described, and then also in the spiritual aspect. So really the energy system, just like our healing everything that we want, is a body, mind, and spirit, the true Trinity. The truest Trinity in the world is body, mind, and spirit. That's who you are. And so it's about examining all of that aspect. Food used as medicine will keep you clean and clear. Supplements will rebuild your body. Here's some of my thoughts on that. And then I want to get over to the spiritual and then the interpersonal side of the energy. So I was put on this planet, I think, to be forced to exit many times, which I am still here today. I have been almost taken out probably 5 or more times in my life. First time was my birth, when my identical twin sister died, and I was born 3 months early. In 2017, I was diagnosed with microvascular disease in my heart. And what that meant was my heart was not getting oxygen or blood flow. And I remember feeling it going poop, 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 and it felt dark. Because I have been working on energy, I know myself, I know my body, I'm an incredible healer, that I knew something was wrong. And so I had one day I had about 17 mini heart attacks. And I went to the doc, I went in, we took care of this, found out that it was something called microvascular disease, which is caused by parabens. Guys, become holistic, become free of all crap that is put in your products. That moment on, I did not touch another thing that had anything that was not natural in it. Recently, yeah, I have. But at that point, to heal myself, I went around with my hair, washing it with African black soap because that's what I found to use my body. See, I didn't know a lot of stuff. I had to ask friends. My hair was like straw. And I'm like, said to one of my girlfriends, what do I do with my hair? Because look at it, it's like straw. I'm washing with this. I don't know what to do. I'm trying to be clean and all this, cleanse my whole system. And so she started introducing me to other products, which led me on a search of, wow, the world is really out there big and in our mainstream markets with products that are not dangerous for us. So go about looking for things that love you, that love you back, right? So I healed microvascular disease in my heart, probably, I think it was like in 3 or 4 months. What that taught me was I needed to stay on my anti-inflammatory diet. I cut out wheat, dairy, and sugar. And I was very, very careful on what I ate.
Yeah. I was just going to say how important that detoxification is, which is why we have it as a complete module around what does that system need to operate. And like you said, sometimes this can be really overwhelming. You're like, oh my gosh, I have to redo my whole life and all, and it really doesn't have to be that way. Especially the approach that we take, we know if we just dump on you all this information and say, okay, now go figure out how to live totally different,
I'm in an avalanche.
Yeah, that's useless. It's just, it has no value in it. It's not going to happen. A month from now or a year from now, you're going to be in the same place because implementation is so difficult. So everything is really geared towards, okay, what is digestible today? What is that one step? And then building a plan for making it doable however long it takes. But that one step, knowing that each step that you take is valuable and it helps. And like Mia was saying, sometimes we have to do things for a period of time, but that doesn't mean we have to do them for the rest of our lives. It's just where our bodies are at a certain time. Mia's body was saying, screaming, I need to, clean me up. And once you get to that place, and then things start functioning. And when you really understand the role of these different systems and how they impact each other, it makes a lot more sense why having a clog in one place would, lead to all these other issues in every system. So that just made me really think, Mia, to mention that, how important the detox is, doable, attainable, and sustainable. But yeah, and I love that your experience has been, and mine as well, we get to live these, we get to see what happens, not only for ourselves, but the people that we work with. And so it's really helped us see over time, how when you bring these pieces together, it's unreal, really. And we had to kind of find out the hard way, huh, Mia?
We did. And your body, if it's not in crisis, exactly what Lori's saying, just like anything else, just like the love work or the interpersonal development love work, whatever it is, or working out at the gym, or going for walks, or playing tennis, whatever you want, swimming. It may be slow at first, and that's okay. One step in front of the other. That's the only way we're going to get there. If you're in crisis, you got to dive in to save something. But if you're not in crisis, start now, because the buildup of what happens in our body since the industrial, well, not just the Industrial Revolution, but recently, since the 30s and, well, I guess after the Depression, since the 40s, the canned foods, the fast foods, the processed foods, process, TV dinners, microwave foods, all of this, right? Our beautiful, gorgeous, natural bodies are not meant to have this fast stuff. What's cut out in the processed foods is our nutrition. So let's be wise with it. If you still need to do that, that's okay, but implement more good stuff. One of the things I want to share is DIM. This is cruciferous from broccoli. Just look up DIM on Amazon and get your bottle. Take one, follow the directions just for a healthy thing. I eat vegetables like crazy, and I still take these throughout the day because I'm working on something else in my body right now. Also, I suggest, this is one of the things that healed the cancer besides the prayers and all that stuff. It's for your immune system, turkey tail.
Yeah.
Mushrooms are fantastic. If you haven't seen, have you seen Fantastic Fungi, Lori?
I have.
Yes.
Yes.
It's one of my favorite shows. Watch it, guys, because
Yeah.
literally you will learn. You are fungi. Isn't it? I know it sounds gross, but the whole world is. It's an incredible mycological system underground in our bodies, communicating with it. We are more fantastic than you ever know. I guarantee if you watch that, you guys will be blown away.
Yeah.
So there's other ones besides turkey tail. Lion's mane helps with the brain, which helps with early onset Alzheimer's, dementia, more clarity. So just take care of yourself and love yourself, because we're not getting this stuff naturally. And this is the stuff, I didn't know about this in 2020 when I was healing cancer. Actually, I was my oncologist's first holistic patient. And I know at first he was pulling his hair out, but he actually turned because he knew who I was in our conversations and stuff. So he turned my treatment over to me, and I would tell him what I needed, because I didn't need chemo, and I wasn't having, I had 5 tumors. One of them was 11.63 that shrunk to 3 centimeters. 2 of the 5 are disappeared. The other 2 are under a centimeter, and they went dormant. They became alive again, and now I'm clearing it totally out of my body, So this stuff is important all around for healthy, not just for cancer, but for health. The cancer thing was amazing because I started doing a lot of research. My husband at the time had been researching cancer for 10 years, and he had said, I think that I did this because the universe was guiding me to help you to know how to heal your cancer. And I really became, what I found was the cruciferous, which is the broccoli family, Brussels sprouts, asparagus, cauliflower, cabbage is good in there. Even kale and spinach and dark salad greens, like the spring greens, those are good for you. If you have to have a salad, like I'm a salad girl, I have to have that greens, but I also have to have my other veggies too. So this is just a little helpful supplement because it's broccoli. So when I did that, when I made that my primary, when I was studying to kill cancer, you have to kill the source in which it feeds, because cancer is like a parasite. It will shift its way of eating until it destroys the host. So I went after it to destroy it. And with the cruciferous, I'm telling you, every single meal was one of the cruciferous, a few eggs here and there, because I personally needed that other type of protein. Protein in cancer patients, you have to be careful. And I do support people for free. If they have cancer, I will help. I will meet with you and I will talk to you about your program, your protocols, not changing anything. You do what you need to do, helping you supplement other things. And I say that because it's a scary, scary thing. So I totally cleaned out my body with that. the cancer was gone. It was dormant. All that stuff shrunk away. 90% it was in my breast muscle. They wanted to do a mastectomy, chemo, radiation. It was in my lymph nodes. All of that retracted. So we can heal our bodies. It's amazing. And food is a major part of it. Food is a major part of it.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, it's, you were mentioning how, you know, a lot of the products that have been created as a source of a lot of our essentially toxins in our life. And at the same time, our food, even the food that is good for us, has been going down in its nutritional value because the soil doesn't have as much in it. We've got all of the, you know, pesticides and things like that. And also in the presence of EMFs, which, you know, cell phones and the internet and everything has an effect. Certain toxins are really activated by that. And so we're just living in a different environment. And I don't say that to scare you or to say, oh, we're, you know, it's just, let's be smart about it. Let's know where we live and what we're exposed to so that we can do sometimes very simple things that can mitigate. You know, we don't have to be crazy. We don't have to eliminate unless your body is really telling you that's what it needs. Most of us don't need to be fanatical. We can make the kinds of shifts, you know, with the right knowledge, do the things that are easy for us and really just mitigate so that we're able to stay in our healthy zone, you know, without having to get too crazy. So, you know, because I get it, it's kind of overwhelming to think about and to hear, like, there's so much. And yeah, there is so much, right? But that's so much power, so much you are able to do. And again, that's the reason why we've put together the year and giving us time and to make plans with the people who go through so that it's not like, you know, so overwhelming that you can't stick with it, because that's my main thing, right? Because again, feeding you lots of information, not helpful unless there's really good implementation behind it. You know, so a lot of the work that I do and have done for a long time is like, okay, great. I know what I'm supposed to be eating. So why do I keep eating all this other stuff? Right? That's, I don't know, 75% of the thing, right? 25% is getting the knowledge around what's best for my body. And then the other 75 is like, okay, now tell me why I'm not doing it. And there are a lot of reasons, and that's where we want to put our time and effort, is to figure out, you know, what can I do so that I actually carry through with the things that I know my body needs to do with respect to food and anything else really. Yeah, man.
I want to say, because I see a little distress in here, remember, this is a step-by-step. I can see some people going off in their minds and getting a little bit worried. It's not about
who's feeling like, oh, it's so much.
My sweet girl, Tiffany. So I wanted to say that because it can set you off, and then all you're going to think about is just what you got to do right now to do. And yes. I know that. Can I step in just for a minute also with something else I wanted to say?
Yeah, absolutely. It's perfect.
So this is where, and I didn't talk about the spiritual or the interpersonal development energy. This is a prime example of where, and I love this girl. She's one of my clients. So I'm just saying that this is where all of us, looking at ourselves, looking at that, we can shift and change it, because we do work to love ourselves. Now, the way I say this may sound like Mary Poppins, but it literally is about looking at the areas that don't serve us. So I'm just like, used to be the worst ruminating nut. I had insomnia. I couldn't sleep. I would think about, how do I put this step in and this step in? It all became too overwhelming. So that's when I really dug into my interpersonal development work, the self-love work, the emotional intelligence work, whatever you want to call it, it's the same. And so when you clear out the garbage from our past, from our childhood, from our development of where we are today, you become a new person. You become happier, stronger, more joyful. That's an energetic shift. anytime you do development work for yourself, that's a massive energetic shift. You can increase and remove things. Increase, like if I wanted to make more money, I could increase that by my mindset, my wherewithal, understanding that I can do it. Now, on the spiritual level, we must do this interpersonal development work as humans because it has destroyed so many of us at an early age. We can't jump into our spiritual arena, our realm, our area, if we're thinking about all the monkey mind stuff, all the energetic noises in our head. We have to clear that all away. And remember, one step at a time. We say this stuff, but it's one step at a time. It's where you do your reading of certain books, listening to certain information, and saying, wow, I see where the monkey mind is starting in here, and I'm going to shift that. And then once you get past that and start to remove all these things that are distracting you, guess what happens? Woohoo! You're like, I'm closer to God. I can hear him, literally. So whatever your individual, and I'm going to say this, it's not rude, story is, because sometimes it sounds rude, whatever your story is. So whatever, where you are in life, you can always shift and change and grow. You're not too young. You're not too old. We have the ability to move. And when, again, that's lighting up as if we put a spotlight on the Trinity of body, mind, and spirit. That's where that energy is. That's that quantum flow within us. Body, mind, and spirit. Okay, that was it, Lori.
Yeah, and that's such a perfect way to think about your relationship with food, because your relationship with food is indicating if it's not a nourishing one, if it's not what you want it to be, it's nothing more than an indicator that you have some body, mind, spirit work to do. It's just highlighting that for you, because the food is comforting you in these places where you need healing, or you need to go inside and look at whatever it is for you individually. So it's a matter of, some part of it, there are several factors when it comes to your relationship with food, right? Where we could be using food to fill the gaps in our lives. We want excitement, but we don't have any. So spicy Thai food's gonna fit the bill. We want comfort, but we don't have any. So Ben and Jerry is gonna come in for us and provide that comfort, and sometimes it's just a matter of, we've trained our brains to know that when we encounter some kind of uncomfortable emotion, the answer for us is food, right? Food is what we've trained the brain to do. We've done it so many times that you have been kind of taken out of the equation when that emotion comes in. You don't have consciousness to say, is food actually going to save me here? Is it actually going to solve this problem? It's so automatic because we've done it to ourselves, or with ourselves so many times. The efficient, beautiful brain says, don't worry, Lori, you're bored, you're stressed, you're overwhelmed. I got this. You just stay here doing what you're doing, whatever. I'll take us to the kitchen and get us what we need so that we can get through this uncomfortable emotion. It's like, and then you wake up afterwards and you're like, why did I do that again? I said I wasn't going to do that. You feel like you weren't even there because you are on autopilot, right? So it involves kind of, working with your brain, establishing new pathways, looking at those areas in your life where food is being something that it's not meant to be. It doesn't actually provide comfort. It does for 5 minutes, right? It doesn't actually provide entertainment. Again, 10 minutes, whatever. So it's about looking at that as the root cause, not saying, how can I control myself? How can I push myself? How can I force myself to do these things? That never works, because that's not the issue. The issue is these things underneath. And the beauty of that is when you look at the underlying issues and you provide yourself with those things and you love yourself and you do the work that Mia is so, talking about so emphatically, is that yes, your relationship with food changes. Yes, your health changes. Yes, your body changes, but so does everything else. And so again, full circle when you bring it all together. But if you're somebody, and such a big segment of the population is on some degree, if you're somebody that would identify with using food to deal with emotions, you're not doing anything wrong. You have nothing to be ashamed of with food. We were trained to do this, right? From the time you were a baby, when you cried, you were given either the breast or the bottle. You were taught food comforts me. And then as we grew, our lifestyle, our culture solidified that for us. You fall off your bike, oh, come inside, have a cookie. You were a good girl at the doctor, whatever. Here, have a lollipop. I mean, it's just reinforced. So of course we do those things until we know better. Once we realize and can stop judging ourselves so that we can see why we do the things we do, then we can apply the appropriate fix, which is looking at the reasons why, and also building new neural pathways in the brain so that you can make a choice, stay conscious, and be involved in that decision of okay, I'm feeling drawn to food right now, even though I'm hungry. What's going on? Being conscious in that moment and being able to make a decision that serves your long-term bigger goals.
And that, can I hop in here for a second? And that space of that uncomfortableness of not knowing, oh, I know better, but I want this. Or if your body is craving it, you guys, it's all about loving yourself. Now, sometimes we use the excuse, oh, I'm going to love myself, so I'm going to have this. Well, you know what? That's okay. That's a choice. That's a choice, isn't it? Everything is a choice, chocolate or vanilla. I do or I don't. So think of it as ease. We put this restriction on ourselves so tightly that we suffocate. But when it's a choice, when we are in charge, when we're not being guided by the little child that we aren't, believe me, we all are being guided by our little child until we do the work. And even then we get those spaces where we're like, sometimes we tremble. Oh, I got to have that. You feel like a drug addict. I want that food. I got to have that. I've been shaking for that piece of chocolate cake. It's been in my mind and I'm so stressed out. It's going to make me feel better. Okay. If you can't get through it, have some of the chocolate cake, a few bites, try to be both sides until you work it out. But it is about developing the love within yourself that it's okay, right? Once you know that everything is okay and it's your choice, that allows you to have the freedom that you've never had in your entire life. What we're seeking in life is freedom. Freedom is love. On the other side of anything, it takes us back to love. Love is divinity. Love is God. So it's okay. It's okay. If you drink too much, sometimes you want to have something to eat to balance it out. It's okay. We all go through our own things. I love dirty martinis. I'm not on them right now because I'm taking care of my body in a different way. But, we all have our thing that we like to have. When I go out with my friends, I want a dirty martini. I don't know what you guys want, but that's what I'm getting. But it is about a choice. And it's not about yelling at yourself. The first time this comes up, this dragon, this monster in your face, say, I have a choice. What is my choice? Just talk to yourself. Even if you're going to go eat that thing, just talk to yourself. Work through it, because the next time, guaranteed, it's going to be a lot easier and a lot easier. Even if you keep running to the refrigerator with that, if you can't help yourself, the more you communicate, put this work into effect, it will imprint in your body. What we're doing is we're removing all the old patterns and we're replacing them with new ones.
Yep. And when you do that, Mia, what you're talking about, again, we just keep coming back to this thing, mind, body, spirit, and it's whatever works in one area is also working in another area. So as you talk about, loving yourself and all the things, I could take that and say, well, let's look at it from more of a physical, from a scientific standpoint. Maybe that resonates, what's happening in your nervous system when you say, oh my God, I can't have that. I'm terrible for wanting this. I'm never going to reach my goals. What's happening to your nervous system? It's high alert. You're already stressed. That's why you're in that space in the first place, right? You're already stressed. And now you're heaping criticism on yourself. You've got the restriction, and all of that is serving to make you more and more activated. And as you're getting more and more activated, you have less access to the beautiful evolved portion of your brain that can say to you, let's just think about this for a second. Right? When you're in that activated state, you're being completely driven by your limbic system, which is your survival. And your survival does not want to look at the big picture. It says, we got to get out of here now. We got to do something, act, hurry up. You don't take any seconds here. We could be dead if we take seconds, right? That's how we feel. And so we don't even have the opportunity in that space to ask, do I want to do this? It's just done. So what Mia's saying is being kind to yourself and going a little bit slower, thinking about things. It gives you, your nervous system, a chance to calm down a little bit. And then it gives you access to your higher self, which makes the decision, let me go slow with this and just hear what I'm needing. Because we don't hear if we're in that activated state. And so from every aspect, that is the way to go.
And breathe, everybody. We don't breathe enough. So when we're stressed out like that, we close ourselves off, making choices, when really we should be getting calm. And then, okay, what feels right for me?
Yeah. And we're not getting calm so that I won't eat, because that's the restriction, right? Oh, I have to do these things so I won't eat. That's the restriction still. You do those things because it can relax you and give you the opportunity to make a choice. But if in the back of your mind, you're saying to yourself, I'm doing this so I won't, then you're not actually going to be able to relax into that space. So there's a lot to cover on
There's
that.
a lot in here that we can't get to, obviously, as Lori said, that are weeks and weeks worth of work. So,
yeah, but it does give you a sense, even right now, of the direction that you want to go. And so I told you that I'm practical, and I'm going to leave you with something for each area that we're talking about today. So here, I would ask you to maybe spend the week, dedicate this week until we meet again next week with our next topic. Dedicate this week to kind of being with yourself and food in a very non-judgmental way, and keeping a few, you don't have to write down everything, or, certainly not writing down what you eat. I don't mean that at all, but just start to notice your patterns
and your emotions.
Yeah. So if you're maybe, you're somebody who has had a history of all or nothing thinking when it comes to food. I'm either totally in doing this whole thing 100%, or I'm over here eating chocolate cake and pizza. Maybe that's your pattern, and that is a pattern that keeps a lot of people from being able to achieve their goals. So maybe all or nothing thinking is really driving your challenges with food, if you have any. Or maybe it's more of an emotional piece, emotional habitual. I kind of put those together where you're turning
all emotional, don't you?
There's aspects. Every experience does have some unwanted food experience, does have some emotional aspect, but it also has a habitual aspect as well, because of our trained, efficient brains. So asking yourself, oh, here, I notice what I'm doing. And it can be even after the fact, if that's what happens. I noticed I got bored, and so I put my hand in this chip bag, and then the next thing I know, the chip bag was gone. Just notice that and start to see, where are my patterns, because that's where I have power. And if we're, a lot of times we don't want to see those things. They're ugly to us. They shouldn't be. It's just you trying to survive, doing your best with what skills you have right now. So there's no ugliness to it. It's just, this is what I do to take care of myself. And it's a beautiful thing. It doesn't mean you have to keep doing it, because it probably doesn't serve your higher goals. So you can switch, but the first step is awareness, right? You can't change something till you have deep awareness of what it is that you're doing and want to change. So that's what I would suggest, is just getting to know your patterns. And you may be surprised that focusing on them in a really compassionate way will allow you to gather a lot more information. You may think, oh, I know what my patterns are right now. But if you've met yourself only with judgment, it might be surprising to see how much more you can learn about your patterns when you meet yourself with compassion in that space.
And love.
So that would be the step, so to speak, for your relationship with food for this week's
It's beautiful.
challenge.
And let's talk about the body really quickly, because we're shoving food into our body, right? So our body also needs to be addressed. We're addressing it too. But what about the concept of body love? About absolutely loving your body? Whose eyes or ears perked up there? Yeah, it's a very powerful thing, because our body is something that's an inanimate object to us until we actually get to know her, or him, for those that are listening to this on the replay. Literally, we must love and know our body. We ask our body questions. How are you feeling? Do you like what you're feeling? If you don't like it, remove it. If you like it, keep it. But you have to know how you're feeling. You have to be connected to your own emotional state there. If any of you, I know I recognize a lot of faces. Brooke has been with me for like 5 years and stuff like, yeah. So literally love your body. If you guys know the honor bath that I teach, I don't get in the bath with you, but I give you instructions on how to honor your own body during the bath. I think I'm going to have Pablo put it in the treasure trove. That's a good idea. Literally, it's the treasure trove is where all the work that I give out to my clients is housed. So anybody's welcome to the treasure trove to utilize the stuff. So I'm going to put that in there. But it's about identifying your body in a way that you probably never have. And this is just a quick tool. You look at your hands. The first time I looked at my hands like this to honor my body, I was really actually freaked out, because I'd never looked at my fingers before. And I'm like, whoa, those are called digits. And I, would go up my arm. And so it's about, after you bathe yourself, because I'm really neurotic about my bath. So after I bathe myself, I then put something I really love, either in a cloth or a scrubby or, some kind of a gel. And I give gratitude for my arms. These allow me to hold people that I love, to carry things. My hands allow me to type, which I type over 100 words a minute. Most people are like, God, you're fast. And I love that. I love to type. I love to paint. I'm very handsy. My face, our face, it's our sexual object. If you're slapped in the face, it's called a sexual assault, because this is what is represented to the world. So love your face, your neck, your breasts, your tummy, especially for those who have carried babies. Even if you haven't, love it. You have this beautiful body, your bum, your legs. My legs let me dance and walk and get to where I want to go. Everything about you is magnificent. And until you see it step by step, moment by moment, you won't have the experience that I have or Lori has. It's not about we're here and you're not. It's about showing you guys, love yourself, love your body. It's about what you put in, what you put on, how you view yourself, how you treat yourself. Guaranteed, if you are in love with your body, you're not going to be calling her Little Miss Jello or any other negative words.
Yeah.
Honestly, because you understand that you can shift and change that too. Maybe it's releasing some weight off of your body and it comes off of your legs. Who knows? Everybody's situation is different. That's just a pat answer out there. But it's about recognizing your brilliance. We have these bodies that are unstructured like any other creature on the planet. We have women like me with big breasts and big butts, that could look very off when you're in the water, like in the ocean, the Pacific Ocean. It's very pounding hard. So when you're in there, you get knocked down. How can people like really tall, skinny men and women with proportions to the front and the back, how do we stay up? How do we get back up? We've got these incredible bodies. Look at that. Look at the magnificence. We have people that rock climb. right? We have people that run 26.2 or whatever miles. Our bodies are magnificent. They're not made for the modern conditions. So support yourself and love yourself and recognize the brilliance that you have to offer yourself.
Yeah.
The
And
moment
speaking of, I'm sorry, Mia, go ahead.
I'm sorry, the moment you change your perception is the moment you change your life. There you go, Lori.
Exactly. That's exactly what I wanted, because our emotions drive our behavior, right? We know that. That's a well understood principle of transformational work. Our thoughts create our emotions, which in turn create our actions, our behavior, and therefore our extended life circumstance. So think about for a minute the emotion that comes from, oh, I'm awful. I have to change quickly because I'm disgusting or I'm not okay the way I am. What kind of emotions does that thinking generate? Pessimism, despair, sadness, guilt, shame, all kinds of things. Yeah. So what are the actions that a person who's experiencing those kind of emotions, what kind of actions do they take? They reach for comfort. They don't get up in the morning and move their bodies. They're not motivated, right, to take care of something. Now think about the person who's like, I'm absolutely amazing the way I am. I want to take care of myself because I love myself and because this life is so there for me. And I have so many things that are exciting for me, and because I'm worthy of them and because I love myself. Those, what kind of, emotions does a person who's thinking those thoughts have? Optimism, joy, excitement, all of these things. What is the behavior of that person look like? That person is, moving their body. They are taking their supplement. They are eating the food that brings them energy. And so it's, we look at it from that perspective. Loving yourself is actually, a lot of people say, well, if I don't dislike myself, I won't have the motivation to change. But it's exactly the opposite. When you don't need to change because you're already perfect, then you can. It's incredible. Mia, I was going to ask too, we've talked about emotional eating today, which is something I too have my version of the treasure trove that I call the Freedom Channel, because it's all about developing a nourishing relationship with food. So I'm going to put that link in here in the chat, if that's okay, so that you can get some additional resources that's really just geared towards, what can I do to help my relationship with food a little bit. This is a beautiful aspect. All of these things, right, that we're talking about today are part of the year program, because it's also interrelated. And Mia was saying, know your body. And that's another aspect of the program that we take so seriously. In fact, we're going to take the whole year to build it's called somatic experiencing. But really what it is, if we boil it down, it's getting to know your body and being able to hear your body, because your body is so intuitively wise and can guide us. You can know instantly, maybe some of you already have the ability to, meet someone for the first time, and within 30 seconds, is this one of my people? Is this somebody that I can trust and open up to? Or, some other kind of situation where your body tells you, even before your mind can assess, your body knows something. And that is such a beautiful thing, but it's also something we can really respect about our bodies and appreciate. So building a somatic or body practice through the year is going to be another important element of the program. And it also is really important because when you know your body, you know when it needs something. So when, before you hit rock bottom, before you go to the doctor and get your diagnosis, what's going on for you at an early stage, so that you can provide your body what it needs to continue to thrive. Instead of going into a place of sickness, you can be on top of it when you know your body. Your body will tell you if you're a trained listener, so to speak. So that's another beautiful thing for us to be thinking about with respect to our bodies, is just getting to know it.
When I had cancer, I knew that I had cancer. I mean, my body told me I had cancer. Hello. My body told me I had cancer. And I went in a week later or 4 days later after the first, yeah, oh, sweetheart, after the first realization. And yes, I did have it. So I wish I had listened 6 years before. 6 years before my cancer came. I felt the nodule. I thought because I had had my breast reduced that it was just a scar tissue. That's what I kept telling myself since 2009. I think it actually appeared in 2013. So it had been a long time. The only thing I want to say about this is that when we can calm down and be in our awareness, our body, mind, and spirit, this is where the energetic flows of consciousness come through us. This is where we can hear and feel everything. And this is a space that Lori and I are going to take those who do come into the who want to be in the mastermind. It's about changing every aspect. It's about your spiritual, your body, your relationships, your work, your home. Now, when we say this, we're not getting into your home going, okay, change this and that. It's about educating you into and supporting through these experiences, right? Those are the 5 primary structures of what humans go through. And so it's really, really important to not be afraid and to know that in your energetic spiritual awareness, okay, now down, thank you. In your energetic spiritual awareness, you can create, manifest, deliver, demonstrate, whatever you want to call it. You can restructure everything. I was a little girl who was literally, chaos was so strong, and everybody has their story. Chaos was so strong in my family. There was not one night until my father died. Well, even after that, I didn't sleep because I missed my father. There's not one night that I slept through the night. I was always waiting for my parents to stop fighting, or my cue to have them make up at night. So when you take your trauma, which this is why I'm saying everybody has their own story. And when we can take that story and take the energy and break the energy of each storyline, which you'll be getting the inner child work in there that I do in the mastermind. And you guys can also get it out of the treasure trove. There's also instructions in the treasure trove. So do the work, whether you are fortunate enough to join Lori and I, or whether you just want to do it on your own until you can, or something like that, do the work yourself, please, because it will change who you are. We've seen over the, I'm so sorry about sugar here. We've seen over the eons, well, last 30, 40 years, how transformational work supports. We all know who Tony Robbins is. We all have seen that. And then from there, we see other people like me and Lori who step up because we love this stuff. It's not because we think that we're great. We just love this so much that we have to immerse our life in it.
Yeah. And we get to see all the people, right, who show up, who are ready. We get to see how it comes together for them. And, you know, for me, that's more inspirational than Tony Robbins, because, you know, these are people who are just, and the incredible human resiliency, right, to believe enough in yourself to say, I think with the right information, support, accountability, that could be me.
Right.
That is so inspiring. I just got goosebumps thinking about the people who live in that space of just having the faith that it is for them. And I've not come across anyone who brought that faith that has not had that experience.
Yeah. I can proudly say without arrogance that I have changed my life. I'm a thriver, not a survivor. I was a survivor. I became a thriver. And I am at a level within myself. I'm not talking about whoever is looking around, within myself, of so much. I've been alone this year, and I had a relationship that person didn't live in my home, a male. We were in a relationship somewhat, and it was miserable, totally miserable. And I was able to then say, no, I am more important than feeling like I'm less than. That's the hardest thing that we as humans and women, because we're structured to nurture, to support, to love. That's the hardest thing for us, to look at anything in our life and say, enough. I'm first. It's the same thing with the airplane thing that we always hear. Oh, put your mask on first before helping somebody else so that you can actually help them. It literally is about restructuring who you are on a cellular DNA level.
Yeah.
I will never be that little girl hiding in the closet. Never, never. Now, if I went in the closet now, it'd probably be to get my clothes and to look at my shrines and all that kind of stuff. But there's a difference between hiding and nurturing yourself, right?
Yeah.
Hiding and nurturing. Sometimes we go into our inner closet, whether it's physical or emotional, you know, we go into a closet of space, of quietness, of serenity. There's no more hiding, ladies. We're here for a reason in 2020. We all chose to be here during this worst time in human history. Well, I guess we're in 2022 now. Woohoo! Spank me and her little hiney, get her moving. Yeah, literally, it's about moving forward. It's about progressing in any level that you can.
And the fact that you're here on this call right now, that something, whatever drove you to, you know, click the button and come in here, I think it says a lot about your readiness and what's calling you. So I'm excited for you guys, the fact that you, are feeling that energy, and, you know, maybe you have some doubts around, you know, it's too late for me, or I should have done this before, or, you know, whatever it is. Those doubts are nothing more than the product of, you know, some past experiences. They are not true. They are not your current reality at all. Your current reality is you can have anything you want. Let's come at it from a healed place and create it one day at a time.
I think what she said is what I was trying to say.
Same thing.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. I love the way you stated that. Thank you. All right. Any questions before we hang up and see you next week? No.
With respect to the body love, you know, just listen to your self-talk and really notice, what am I saying about my body? And notice your energy, your emotions that come from that conversation. And then try, you know, the opposite, and notice your emotional state and your energy when you're being kind and compassionate and accepting to yourself.
And implement the word gentle. Gentle is the most profound self-love word there is, because humans are not gentle with themselves. Gentle. I want you to practice saying that until you get this sound to yourself and within, today and all week. Gentle, gentle. When you can feel it vibrate love down you, that's where you want to be. The more you practice the word gentle in your vocabulary, the more you will express it. You're angry at yourself, turn inwards, be gentle. No more yelling, screaming at yourself. I'm dumb, I'm this, I'm that. No. Okay, I'll do better. What's the area? You know, talk out loud, talk to the universe, talk to God. What do I need to know in this moment to be gentle? Because gentle is the key ingredient in self-love. It is the ingredient that makes us and allows us to become the powerful beings. Because
embracing our beauty, yes,
nothing is built. Nothing is built in anger. It's built in sunshine, right? Darkness. There's no darkness.
Takes us back to our song from the beginning. Let the sun shine in.
Love it. Yeah.
Yeah. And you are all beautiful. I'm looking at you. I'm seeing you. I see how beautiful you are. And you're all worthy of that gentleness, especially from yourself.
Gentle.
Yeah.
I taught my dog he was 5 months at the time. He's 5.5 now, almost 6. Going down the stairs, he used to tear down. I have the top floor of my house and the kids are downstairs. He used to tear down the stairs and bust baby gates at the top and the bottom, bust through the baby gate, run out and chase my son's little tiny 15-year-old Maltese that, you know, can hardly move it. And so I started with slow, gentle, just like that. And he slowed down. And now I open the gate, slow. And he may dance down the stairs, but he doesn't tear down them and bust things open. He waits for me, he sits, he taught himself, puts his butt over, allows me to walk past him, open the gate, I go first, and he comes. So if I can teach a puppy to be gentle in one moment, we can certainly teach ourselves to be gentle as well.
With consistency.
Yeah.
And don't judge yourself when you're not, because it's a process.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah. How fun. I just really loved being with you guys today. It was a lot of fun, and just seeing your faces, and you inspire me for sure.
Me too.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can all be inspiration to each other, right? It's not just Lori and I teaching here. It's about your magnificence. We want to see your magnificence, and we want to see you grow your
magnificence. We do see it.
Exactly.
Already. But we want to be able to experience it more.
Yeah. And same with the concept of self-love. People say, well, I can't get a date, or I can't do this because I don't like myself. I'm sorry, you are born love. You are love. You may need to wash the windshield a little bit there to see more clearly, but you absolutely know everything inherently inside. And this is why we came together with this, because we want to wake it up. Yep. Wake it up. You already have it. Wake it up.
Yep. Okay. We are not more wise. We just know the questions to ask.
Yes.
For you to access your own inner wisdom. So.
And if you have any questions you want to send to Lori and I, or actually put it up in the Self-Love Revolution classroom underneath this video that's going up in less than an hour, please do so. We will get on there and we will write you. Lori and I are going to be in the Self-Love Revolution group off and on every day between 9 and 10. She's like, oh, she's like,
yay!
I thought it was a couple times, Mia. Yeah, we're going to do that. We're also going to bring in a couple of guest speakers as well, so that it's just not Lori and I. So it's to support you in all areas. So come in and join us between 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and 10 and see what there is. We're going to have some readings. You'll get on, we'll talk to you through there. I'll do readings for you. We're going to be talking about love, health, wisdom, everything, spirituality. It's all about supporting you guys. So if you have friends who want to come into the Self-Love Revolution classroom, send them in, because there is so much content. Remember, this last year, 2021, we have recorded, 6 months plus worth of classes in there every day. And when I went on vacation in June, Lori and I started recording, and Darcy and I started recording in September. So we've got a ton of stuff in there for you to evaluate, to go over, to nurture, to just do little notes in your journal. I'm going to go back to that. This is where the love thing is. Write down, or highlight when it takes you to the link in YouTube. Highlight that, put it on your desktop on a page that says SLR Classroom Self-Love or whatever, so that you can go back at any time if something sparks your fancy. Okay,
because it's meant for you. If it sparks your fancy, it is. The reason why we did it that day was because you needed it. So yeah. Right. And I really see this year as us coming together as a community on a planetary kind of level, and so inviting friends and bringing in as many people to this work. We're going to change the world. Imagine if everyone was running around loving themselves and being in their highest selves. Imagine how different everything would be. So to the extent that you can bring somebody along with you, that is your contribution to this effort.
And know that there's 1,100 people in there already. So you're in great hands.
Yeah.
All righty.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And thank you, Lori. This was beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn off the